What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You with Black Fathers Now. And dig this, man. We got a conversation with a brother who's bringing a whole lot to the table. And when you talk about a story, the brother got a story. And who I have is none other than my frat brother, Dr. Vernard Hodges. This brother here, he's a dad. He's a veterinarian. He is an entrepreneur, investor, author. He's also star of this new show that you're about to see because it's about to blow up. This new show called Critter Fixers. And again, as I mentioned, he's a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and he's an HBCU grad. Brothers and ladies listening to, because y'all always tune in to what we got going on. What's up? Give a big what's up and a hello to my man, my frat brother, Dr. Vernard Hodges. What's up, brother?
What's up, everybody? Hey, I hope everybody's doing well. Mike, thanks for having me. Thanks for allowing me this platform. I've been fortunate to have, some platforms, but it's always good to be with your people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's always good when you can talk to your people because they, you basically understand my plight. So, I'm like you said, I'm a dad first. That's the biggest thing. So, shout out to VJ, Lil Vernard. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my whole village. Corliss, Tammy, Paul. My partner Terrence, who you'll also see on Critter Fixer Country Vet, and just my whole village. I couldn't have done this without so many people supporting.
And that's such a powerful thing, man. The tagline for Black Fathers Now is bringing the village to the brothers, right? And the African proverb states it takes a village to raise a child, but all of us have a village around us because nothing good or great was ever created on an island or in isolation, right?
Without a doubt, man. My foundation, it's funny you say that, but, I have a foundation that I started. I was helping some kids, and the name of it is It Takes a Village. It takes a village, and I've learned that, being in a profession where, I get kids coming to me all the time saying they want to be veterinarians, but they can see me. A lot of people don't know it, but only about 1.7% of all working veterinarians are Black.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So I was sitting on this big on a big platform at the Television Critics Association in LA. And they asked me, they talked about what it meant to be a Black veterinarian, what it meant to be. And I just want to put them in their shoes. I said, I want y'all to think about it. Everybody's kid from the kindergarten to maybe 7th or 8th grade goes into grade school. They get to sit down, and that first day of school, typically you sit around and you look around the room and there are pictures of all the presidents on the wall. So we always say anybody can be president. But until we saw Barack do it, we never saw a Black guy. So same thing with a veterinarian. I could tell my kid, dude, you could be the president. It's been done. You see it. Barack has paved the way. Same thing with me with Black veterinarians. This hopefully gives me a platform for kids who always loved animals and always want to be around animals. They can look on TV and say, hey, it's a Black guy that does this. I can do it too.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what's so powerful about what you just exemplified, and that's social proof, right? Like social proof. Because the example you gave about the president, all the little kids grow up wanting to be president, and our parents pacify us, right? They would be like, my baby, you're going to be president. Go ahead, baby. As soon as the baby leaves the room, you be like, that fool ain't going to be no president.
Exactly.
It's like you watch like old shows of like, back in the day, and they'll talk about, what if the president was Black? And we make jokes about it as if it ain't possible, because in our mind, in our psyche, we didn't see it was possible because we didn't have social proof, right? Until 2008. And the same thing, you mentioned 1.7% of all veterinarians are Black.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's 1 point. It's just not many of us.
And it's, it's interesting, and this literally kind of leads into the next part of the conversation. Like, what about you? What about your backstory led to you even pursuing, a career in veterinary medicine?
So, people, and that's the reason I wrote that book, Bet on Yourself. People see me and see the platform now, and they think, okay, this guy's successful, this guy has his real estate, this guy's done all these different things, but I know what it's like to be in the trap. I know what it's like to be in a situation where you looked at your report card, as I did in the 9th grade, and you failed. And you like, okay, am I worthy? How can I be a doctor when I'm failing the grade? I can't even get out of the 9th grade. I know what it's like to see the plight. I know what it's like to put money on people's books. I know what it's like to have somebody call me with a collect call from from the penitentiary, and they're my boy. And these are the same cats I ran around with. I know what that's like. So I'm able to take that knowledge of looking at a whole body and a whole picture of a person. So, for me to be that guy who made it out and kind of doing well, I'm able to reach back and say, dude, if I did it, you know my situation, you know my place, you know the grades I made, you know the times I was suspended from school, you know the times that I was skipping school, doing stuff I had no. I know the plight of being an African-American male trying to grow up. So when I go talk to these kids, I don't hit them with the sugarcoat of this. I say, look, I wrote a book so that you can see my failures. And I wrote those because, it's easy to see me now. I'm successful. Everybody want to beat me now. But did you want to beat me 20 years ago when I was a failure, or have been failing and trying to figure it out? So my story, my thing now is, let me help you figure it out.
Let me help you figure it out, man. It's like, there's a quote that I use when I do various speaking engagements. And one of the things that we talk about is a quote from Nelson Mandela. And the quote states that fools multiply when wise men are silent. Fools multiply when wise men are silent. But I guess we also have to go into the whole notion of what defines a wise man, right? So we always put wise men in scenarios where you have to have accomplished all of this and all of that. Sometimes a wise man is just somebody who's been through it, who can tell you a little bit about it, who can help you to, it's the bridge builder, right? I'm building this not for myself, but for those that are coming behind me. We know a lot about the whole bridge builder thing.
Right? For sure. We definitely do.
That's real, and so to your point, when I hear you talk, man, because of your experiences and because of your insight and understanding, we talk social proof, but there's another word that comes to mind when I hear you speak, and that's empathy, right? Sure. And it's not sympathy. See, people look for sympathy. It's empathy, meaning it's not that I feel sorry for you, it's I understand you. And by you understanding, and you have the social proof and the experiences to be able to connect, that gives you this unique position in which you have the capacity to then go and impact on such a very deep level. That's deep, man.
Hey, man, it's a story of my life. Again, it's crazy how all of this came about, this platform. So when I wrote the book, the final, and I'm jumping around, the final chapter was Endgame. So, I felt like I've done almost all I could do with the Critter Fixer brand. I've done well. With my real estate alone, I could go to France and backpack and do whatever I wanted to do. I could buy whatever I wanted, drive whatever car. So my thought was, okay, my kid want to be a veterinarian. I'll teach him. I'll keep the practice. I started hiring other veterinarians. I wrote the book, but I was like, okay, I am going to tell my failures, but this is going to be my kind of ease out farewell song. Like I said, the final chapter was Endgame. Things I planned to do. How I had took emergency call for every other week for 20 years. I was tired of that. If I didn't see another animal, I was financially all right. So I wrote the book. I did some talking, did some speaking, did a couple of things. Then I was contacted by a group of veterinarians here, because living in the rural South, people don't think about it. We don't have a lot of emergency clinics. The closest ones are probably an hour and a half in either direction. So a lot of us took calls for years.
And where are you located now?
I am located in Warner Robins, Georgia, which is about an hour and a half south of Atlanta and probably 2 hours north of Valdosta.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So being in rural Georgia, we didn't have the emergency clinic, so we took our own call, man, which, if you can imagine working a 12, 13-hour day, get garage, and then get a call and say you got to come out to work. They get tired after 20 years. So it was almost like the groundwork was laid. These guys kind of talked to me and said, look, we want you to be part of this emergency clinic. So a group of us got together. We built the building. We hired other doctors to take emergencies. So that took a whole weight off my shoulder. So I'm thinking, okay, really, I'm really about to fade like Jay. I'm fading to black. So I'm like, okay. So I get a call. Actually, a direct message via Instagram. Hey, we want you to be on TV. So, I ignored it. Hey, I really want you to be on TV. Call my office. I was like, okay, sure. So we talked. We talked a little bit more. they decided, they said, look, we got some money. We want to do a pilot. We come follow you in the side. All right, fine. I let them follow me for a week. Then they came back and said, we want to give you a show. Get your agent. We're going to pay you. We're going to do this. And it hit me afterwards. And I didn't really think about it at the time. But I've gotten invested more in the veterinary business, meaning my time, I'm doing more, a bigger platform, I'm speaking to more kids. But God knew He couldn't entice me with money. It couldn't, I don't care how much money, I was planning to fade, but this is something new and a bigger platform that God gave me so that I can show more kids how to do it. Even though I planned to get, now this wasn't my plan. I was out. I was like, y'all can have this. I'm good. So it's amazing how sometimes things work that you don't have a clue. Because somebody told me 3 years ago, dude, you're going to have a national TV show that'll be on the Disney Plus streaming channel, that'll do all this stuff. You'll be in front of millions of people. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm out. But it's amazing how things happen. And I don't even take calls because now we got the emergency clinic. I have a platform now to impact kids, not only in the United States, but I think about 30 countries. So we're talking about people around the world that I'm able to impact now. That it was not my plan. It's amazing how these things work. This was not my plan.
Man, dude, it was your plan. It was just not the plan that you conceived.
It was not the plan, exactly, for sure.
But it was your plan all along. And what's interesting, you mentioned something there that we can't gloss over. You said that I was at a point in my life in which the money was not enticing, right? It was the mission. It was the platform.
It was the mission.
It was the mission and the platform. And that is something that was so interesting because a lot of times and you mentioned the title of the last chapter of your book, Endgame. So a lot of us always put the end game and we put some type of financial number around that end game, right? And what it really sounded like for you, the end game was not about necessarily the money. It was about the impact. It was about the mission.
It was about exactly. That was the key. I wasn't, I was out. I mean, it was just the mission. I mean, now at this point, when I wake up every day, work has even become more fun because yesterday I had a kid and his whole parents. The parents. I mean, we're talking about a senior high school, well-groomed African-American kid coming in asking intellectual questions. Looked like, he plays sports, but his thing was, what school should I go to? How do I get this? What classes should I do? His mom was engaged. His dad was sitting there engaged. They were talking about vet school that we talked about Tuskegee, what it meant to be. It was just they were asking the right questions. So, here's this whole family that has come to me for my expertise on just becoming what I am. That's amazing.
Dude, and I'm gonna tell you, it's funny when I hear you talk. It makes me think about some of my buddies who are like professional athletes and doing different things now. And a guy that I actually went to school with back in the day became a professional athlete, and then after pro ball started doing some youth work and all of that. And I remember getting in the DM one time and shooting him a message, and I was just like, growing up as an athlete, everybody looks at the end game as getting to the league, right? And this guy was a lottery draft pick in the NBA, all that stuff. So everybody looks at that as the end game, and everything that you do growing up is preparation for that. And with the work that he was doing after that, I asked a question. I was like, do you ever feel like the NBA was in essence preparation for what you're doing now instead of the other thing being preparation for the NBA? And when I hear your story, it sounds like everything that you've been doing, the veterinary medicine, the clinics, the investments, the real estate, the this, the that, the books and all of that, these were all things that are preparation for something much bigger.
For sure. I mean, for sure, man. It's definitely, I can't think of a time in my life, it's just been more exciting, to talk to my kid. He and I are going to the Hawks game tonight, and he don't have a clue, but I got a big box full of Nat Geo stuff. Luckily, we're the same size. Everything they sent me, I'm giving to him tonight. So he can go to school. He can rock his Nat Geo stuff. And one of the things that I insisted on when I talked to him, I said, listen, this is all about vet med, but my son want to be a veterinarian. And I want him to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a platform now where he does well. I mean, I've been very fortunate. All A makes all A's, very good kid. So I'll get to see him on the show, and people will get to know him. Hopefully, I don't know, who knows, 10 years from now, he'll be able to look back as a veterinarian and say, when I was a 15-year-old kid, I was on Nat Geo, and this is what I wanted to do. So it's just an exciting part of my life.
Man, and what's so cool about what you're doing is, you're doing things, you're pouring into folks who are not directly connected to you, right?
Sure.
As far as other kids, other scenarios,
All
organizations.
the time.
But you're also making sure to still pour into home, right?
Oh,
You still pour.
For sure.
But we can't gloss over that as well, because there are some that put every focus outside, but then we neglect the crib, right? Whereas, that's it. I know, and that's a good thing, because we have to be mindful. Sometimes we have grandiose ideas, and we're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do that. And one of the things that I find, I used to always read bios. Like, I love to read the bios of people who've done this and done that. And one of the challenges I used to always find was, this guy's a mover and shaker. He's a world this and world that. Everybody around the world loves him, but the family hates him. Or
no
their kids are estranged, or, they've been married 12 times, or, whatever it is. And it's just like, to me, that's not success to me. I don't care how many billions you got. If you ain't got peace at the crib, and you're not taking care of that, and you're not creating that legacy, you're not creating that lineage. I heard a speaker, it's a brother out of Africa named Patrick Lumumba, and he said, true success is when my successor succeeds.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's just like,
hey, for sure. I mean, he is my pride and joy. Anybody that know me know my kid is my pride and joy. And it's just, and another fact, I've never physically seen my father. I don't know what he looked like. I've never seen him. No grudge. It's just, I've never seen him. Don't know what he looked like. Wouldn't know him if he was in this room.
Wow.
So, but that's life. Sometimes in the African American, we deal with it. Those are things we deal with, and we overcome. And I'm fortunate to have overcome those. So, I'm just excited that I'm watching this chapter of my son doing his thing. I mean, he's getting better and better. His thought process and the conversations when we ride. So before we actually go do it, we actually go out and do a cow. But the conversation we're able to have, it was in Coach. On that drive back, they put GoPros in the car, and the things he learned and picked up, man, he kind of shocked me a little bit. So that's really, really a good thing. And coming back home, and we talk about the vision. Coming back home is a big thing. My best friend, and I talk about him in the book, and he ought not to be my best friend, because we signed up in the Army, and we were going to the military together at 16. I chickened out. He ended up going
at 16.
Well, we did the pre, because
the ASVAB stuff.
You did the ASVAB stuff. So we signed our junior year.
Okay.
And we was going to graduate, and I time was getting that, that summer we graduated. I was like, dude, I don't think I want to go. Let's get out of this. He's like, I'm gonna still go. So the beauty of that is he went on to be a medic, and we're talking about a 30-year friendship. He came back and he works for me now.
Wow.
So I'm able to buy my best boy Chicken, who grew up 2 houses down. He does some stuff in my real estate. My other guy, Mario, works, who I've known for 30 years. He works at my other veterinary clinic in Byron. I can go on and on of all these people that I'm able to employ. My best boy, who unfortunately went to the penitentiary, when he got out, I was able to help him start his lawn service. He has a lawn service. I was able to use the strength of my name and contact to get him the contracts. Bought him a lawnmower. Now he's able to support himself.
Wow.
And he's making good money cutting grass. He cuts some of my apartment bill. So he's sustainable. I told him you got to pay some of my money back for all the years I put in his book. But he's able to, but that's the beauty of it. Like, now it's funny because I'm kind of at the top of the food chain, and by that I'm saying people can come to me who need jobs or need something, and I can make it happen. Even if it's not with me, I've created enough goodwill with enough people to do it. Case, the way stuff works, I've only been denied for a loan once. I got denied and I can't say it was really, maybe I wasn't prepared, but and it's public now. That's all I'll say. It was Colony Bank. It's a pretty big bank. It's maybe, it's not a nationwide bank, but it's big here in Georgia and Alabama. So I was not alone. I never was mad. I even wrote about it in the book. I wrote how this was the place I got denied. I can't say that I was mad. I'm not saying it was racial. It's simply maybe I wasn't prepared, but I felt like I should have got a loan, but I didn't. Move on. Case in point. Last year, I get a call. We want you to be on our bank board.
Wow.
So I'm on this bank board. I'm the only black guy. Really ain't a lot of, and I could be bitter, and I could always be bitter. I could have wrote bad stuff. But what I did was make it where you can deny me a seat at the table. So now I got a seat at the table. So when I'm sitting in this room and these loans and these different things are coming about, I'm able to say, look, let's look at this. Let's look at that. And I can't say I can give every black person a loan or everybody a loan who qualifies, but I can definitely give them a voice in that room. And so I have a voice. And
so this was the same bank that you got denied.
It's the exact same bank.
You got denied for the only time you've gotten denied for a loan. You got denied. And now you were called recently, 2 years ago, to sit on the board of the bank that denied you a loan.
The bank that denied me a loan. This is probably, I would think it maybe was 15 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
But when I wrote this in the book, I wasn't on the board. And I still never trashed them. I mentioned it. And they read it. They know. I never trashed them. I simply said, this is what happened. Maybe I was not prepared. Maybe I didn't go to the table with enough. Maybe I didn't. But I prepared myself so nobody else can. Since that time.
Check this out. Let me tell you, it's another brother that I interviewed a while back. His name is Chris Cole. And Chris was talking, we were talking about business life. He's in the cannabis industry and real estate. He's in all kind of stuff and crypto. And one of the things that he mentioned was, when you're doing something, don't get offended, get feedback.
Exactly.
Don't get offended, get feedback. So think about what just happened. So you said you could have just gotten offended and said, you know what? F y'all, forget y'all, y'all ain't this, y'all ain't that. It's on y'all. But what you did was you flipped it and you got the feedback. And to your point, what you just said was, I will never be denied again. So that got you so tight in how you operate that they cannot deny you. They couldn't deny you to the fact that now you sit on the doggone board.
I'm on the board. I'm in the room. I'm in the business meeting. So I walk in the room. Sometimes I'm humble, I mean, I'm sitting next to the guy who started the bank and he talking about his $40 million yacht. And I'm looking at him like, oh, okay. So, but it's like you say, I mean, like we say, you gonna respect my host. Like
That's it. That's it.
You might not, but I'm gonna be professional. I'm gonna bring something to the table. You're gonna respect my host.
And the thing is that I'm really noticing, man, like you mentioned, kind of being at the top of the food chain.
Right.
You're the right one, right? And what I say the right one is that in the sense that, one of my passions is trying to help the right people win. Because for so long, the wrong people have won. And when the wrong people win, and when the wrong people are at the top of the food chain, they're kicking everybody off the mountain, right?
For sure.
But when the right person's up there, they start thinking and start communicating like Tupac used to. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
No doubt.
Because I don't want to be there by myself.
You don't want to be here by yourself. I agree. I totally agree.
Oh.
But that's the thing, man. I mean, it is a process. That's the thing I want people to see. And that's why even when I wrote this book and I told these things, it is my failures. I had no clue I have a TV show. I had no clue I'd be even deeper in the veterinary business. I had no clue that I have this platform. I had no clue I would be on the bank board. All I know is, look, this is what happened to me. I've been denied. So if you've been denied, make it where you can't get denied anymore.
Make it where you can't get denied anymore. Oh, Lord. And so speaking of, Critter Fixer, it's Critter Fixer's Country Vet. That's the
Critter Fixer Country Vet, correct.
Okay, so has that and we're launching? This will come out in March. So
Okay.
when has the first episode already been out there yet, or what?
The first episode show starts on March 7th.
Okay.
So it'll be in a week and a half or so from now. It's funny. Same thing with that. We kind of was waiting for a date. They initially said we want to wait till after Super Bowl.
Okay.
And so, it was like, was that the first week of February? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe in a minute. Then they gave us a date. They said, fine, we're gonna give you the February 23rd. So I'm thinking, okay, which is a Sunday. To me, I'm like, all right. Mm-hmm. So they're like, which was after one of their newer shows called The Zoo, like about a zoo. Then we got a call about a week later, and there's like, well, we're not going to use that date. I'm thinking, like, God. They pushed it back another 2 weeks because they said, listen, our marketing people saw it, and they want to put you behind our #1 show on Saturday night. So they moved it to Saturday night. So they moved it. So they gave me the #1 slot after their #1 show on their most viewed night. It's like, all right. Because if you go to Nat Geo Wild or if you go to National Geographic, which is part of the Disney Plus channel, so, like I said, it's about 40 million viewers there. The interesting thing is, if you go to National Geographic, there's not one black show.
Wow. Not one black show on. Hold on. Let's go back to this. Go back.
Yes.
So, okay, you a brother from Georgia. Okay, sure. HBCU grad.
HBCU all day.
You the bruz on Make It Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. That's right, Rue. You're a veterinarian. You did your thing, invested. Correct. You got to a point in which you thought that you were kind of going to back out of the business and pretty much go and just kind of living your best life.
That's it.
Yeah, end game. You thought you were going to do that. It was your end game until you got a call from someone that said, "Hey, I want you to be on TV." They had a conversation with you. Then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, you better get an agent because you're going to be on TV." All of a sudden, we got this thing situated, not just you, but now your son is going to be on TV with you in part of this whole thing. And caveat or sidebar, you said that you never saw your father, but yet now, hold on, think about this. Millions of people are about to see your son with his father.
Sure. That's amazing.
Deep. And then, so you move forward. And again, this is not something that you orchestrated. They said, get an agent. You said, hey, I got to do this thing, but my son got to be a part of it. Then all of a sudden, now you have this huge platform. And it's not just this huge platform on the Disney Plus and Nat Geo and National Geographic. It wasn't just a random day. They found the most popular show and put you up against the most popular show on the most popular night for Nat Geo. And caveat, my family and I watch all them shows on Nat Geo too. So this is going to be part of it. They put you on the most popular show, but then when you take a behind the most popular show, then you take a deeper look at it and you're like, ain't no other black faces on this whole channel but me. Look at God.
Look at God. Look at God. Look at God.
Bruh. Wow. This is, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm excited, man. And it's funny, I always think about connections and all. We're connected through Skinny, Walter Brown. That's no doubt. I've been behind the scenes with him, helping trying to keep him out of Facebook jail. And every time you say something, look, he's like, look, if it ain't Vernard, Hodges, or Michael Dorsey, I ain't listening to y'all. Right? That's the so
no doubt.
Yeah, so so he connected us, and then I had to go a little deeper because if you take a step back, because you a U.S. bruh from Fort Valley, right?
For sure.
My father was the ace, 1974 from U.S. Keith Dorsey. Yeah, my godfather, 1975, mighty U.S. You know what I'm saying? Deeper connection. And what year did you pledge?
89.
89. That's what I'm saying. So you just stop and you think, man, there's all these connections and all these things line up. And sometimes these things line up not due to anything that you've done, but because there's a bigger force at work. And he got this story written. We just got to allow the story to be told.
That's the key. I mean, it's been an amazing ride, man. I mean, just some of the things, even this thing has offered me a chance to see the world. I mean, we were talking about doing these interviews. I hate, I will miss this one about maybe a month or two, but we all know Steve Harvey had his show and he kind of did
Mm-hmm.
his whole thing. But I got a text last week when we're going out to LA Monday, and we're gonna do the Kelly Clarkson show, which
Oh wow.
she took over. But she took over for Steve. I wish it was Steve, but
Uh-huh.
you know,
Uh-huh.
but it's just interesting. All these different things
Interactions.
are 3 weeks before his untimely death. I was able to hang out and talk to Kobe. That was
Mm.
really a neat thing. I mean, it's just and get his perspective now. I mean, we hear all these good things about Kobe. I'm being honest. I mean, and more stories are coming out because he seemed like a decent private guy, and more of his personal interactions are coming out. But I was telling people, man, all Kobe talked about was his daughter jump shot. We talk and him coaching. That's
Wow.
all he wanted to talk about. I mean, he had to. He's like, man, I got to get to practice because she gonna give me the devil if I'm not there by 7:30. How she had these moves. How good it was just coaching his team. Man, 80% of our country, I want to talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to talk about his daughter.
Wow.
That's I mean, and I was telling many people, it's just a not and I did have a perception like this guy is the black mama. He is probably gonna be a butthole. Nicest guy ever. I mean,
Wow.
just a super nice. So these are things that this platform have allowed me to meet and see people and. So it's been a cool ride.
Mm.
Real cool ride.
Mm. Mm. And so, speaking of the cool ride and your journey, your story, and all of that you have going on, man, how has all of this come full circle to impact you and influence you as a father, specifically a black father?
Definitely. I mean, it allows my son to see because my son just sees me as dad.
Mm-hmm.
He sees me as dad. He sometimes people come up, he like, what, you just dad,
Mm-hmm.
but it has allowed me to show him things. You know, I'll send him articles. He'll hit me back like, no way. Or I'll send him pictures with all these people who are supposed to be famous. He'll be like, no way. Or I'll be like, dude, okay, I'm gonna be on this show. You'll be on this show. He's like, no way. So it definitely makes him see that the impossible is possible.
Mm.
So we have conversations that are just normal conversation that probably, as African Americans, we don't have. We talk about how to build wealth. You know, I'll take him by and I'll own, one of my apartment complexes, and he's not in awe. He's like, okay, and it's like,
Wow.
well, what about this? And he's like, Dad, so what you think? I know you did these houses first. What you think? I said, well, son, I'm telling you, you should do single family houses and learn. I said, because it's one thing to buy one toilet, it's another thing when you buy 100 toilets and you
Mm-hmm.
have to redo it. I said, so, and it's a whole different ballgame. I said, not just fine, just the whole thought process. So he's there, he's thinking, and he'll look. I said, hey man, we'll ride by a house. I said, well, look at that. What do you think? How long do you think is left on the life expectancy of this roof? And he's seen enough roofs, he's seen enough things that he's like, okay, well, maybe, Dad, we probably could get away with another 5 years. Or, Dad, you're going to have to immediately tear that one off. So we're having conversations that hopefully he can see and learn that the impossible can be possible. You
Mm.
know, you can own an apartment complex if you want. You can be on television if you want. I don't care if you don't see any other black billionaires, you see me. So you
Mm.
know you can do this.
Mm.
You know? So those are the conversations that are really, we have the normal dad kid fun. We love sports. We go out to sporting events, we talk. He's starting to talk a little bit about girls now, so we have the girls talk. But
Mm.
it's just amazing to watch this young man become a man and
Mm.
and have different facets. Um, but what is interesting to me is I've noticed, and this is a good thing, but I try to keep them grounded, especially when it comes to HBCUs, especially as part of being a black man. He's been going to Duke in the summers for this Duke tip program.
Mm-hmm.
And I just watched the interaction. The first year, maybe this is third. The first year I remember going over that. Maybe it's an Indian kid, maybe it's a white kid. And all these kids are really brilliant. To get in this program, you got to be in the top, I think 5% of the SAT scores in the country to get in. So, but to watch their interactions is really cool. I mean, I'm from the old South. I mean, I'm a black guy. I mean, I know what it's like to pick peaches. But I mean, I think from both sides, because I would say maybe 70% of my clients are white. So they come in, they give me a hug, and I watch these white kids grow up too. They're definitely seeing color less. That's one thing I have noticed. Just watching them.
They're seeing color less? You said they're seeing color less?
Color less. Like,
okay, gotcha.
Like racial target. They start to see that, which is really neat. I know as a dad, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I have some apprehensions. I'm definitely pro everybody get along. I definitely am, but it's really interesting to see how they don't see color like we did. Or like we review. You know, it's like, okay. So I'm actually learning through his eyes because, you know, when I saw him go and interact the first time we were at Duke, you know, I was like, man, I would probably feel socially awkward. He didn't.
Wow.
So, you know what I'm saying? He did.
That's deep.
He saw smart kids, video games, something in common. Let's see if we can be friends.
Man, check this out, dude. One of the things that's so interesting about that is it's also about what your target is, right? So a lot of us naturally gravitate to what's different, whereas other people tend to gravitate to what is common. So to your point, like you mentioned, video games, sports, whatever, that's our common bond, you know, and we scratch away all the other definitive things that other people put on the surface. Whereas the next person looks at first, how are we different? And then I decide whether or not we can connect. They look at it from the standpoint of let's connect. Then if there are some differences, we'll figure that out later. But let's start with how we connect. And I was going to say, the powerful thing about what you're saying too, though, is how we learn from our kids.
Exactly. That is what I'm doing. I mean, that's amazing, you know? I mean, it's just amazing to watch his interaction because, you know, initially I'm a little like feeling like, you know, want to protect him. But I mean, he's teaching me that this world is, you know, just get in, fine, like you say, get in.
Dude, think about this, bro. Like, just the whole notion of the world that you're into now with television and media and all of that, and how this is a totally different paradigm from being in, you know, middle Georgia, doing your thing as an entrepreneur, businessman, veterinary, and all of that. You're in a totally different world. It's interesting how, again, we think about this whole God, how he sets things up. You're learning this interaction with different types of folks through your kid, which is then preparing you for Hollywood.
It's preparing me for Hollywood. Totally, it gives you the confidence because, you know, I mean, like I said, growing up as an African American male who was thought of as never gonna thrive, never seen your father, failing student, hanging out with the wrong crowd, you kind of start to view yourself as almost not good enough, or socially you know, I mean, will somebody else accept? And so to watch this in the back of my mind, I've seen that I've gained this self-acceptance, thank God, but I'm still a little apprehensive with the kid, but he gets right into it. And, you know, I mean, now they've got these chat groups, it's all different races, all different, I mean, I learned from him. It's really cool, really cool.
So fellas, I want y'all to put a pin in that and really think about that. Even when you're sitting on top of the mountain, don't ever omit the fact that you can still learn from the kids.
Still learn from the kids.
So, bro, like, I mean, with all that you have going on, you got the book, Bet on Yourself. You got the new show that starts, when this airs, this will be after March the 7th, but it came out, the first episode, March the 7th, called Critter Fixer, Country Vet. That's on Nat Geo. Is it going to be on Nat Geo?
It's going to be on Nat Geo Wild, and then it's going to move over to the Disney Plus.
Okay, so Nat Geo Wild, and the Disney Plus, it'll be over there to be streamed. So make sure to check that out. Is there anything else that you'd like to kind of put out there for the brothers to promote, how we can support you, how we can follow you, how we can connect? Man, you got the floor, brother.
You can follow me on my Instagram is Dr. Hodges _Critter Fixer Vet. Okay. Facebook, Dr. Hodges at Critter Fixer. But I mean, and also I have a website called I am Dr. Vernard Hodges. So you
Okay.
can follow me on those things, but above all, just know anything that seems impossible is possible.
Mm,
Because I can sit here and say, no way I thought all this would happen.
mm.
All I know is my job, no different from any other job. I did it to the best of my ability. I did it every day. And I'm in the middle of the country and they found me.
Mm.
So that tells you wherever you are, if you do what you're supposed to do and you do it well, you can be fine.
I'm in the middle of the country and they found
Middle of
me.
the country, and they found me.
What are they? What they always say, your gifts will make room for you, right?
They will, for sure.
Ooh, Lord. Now, fellas and the ladies listening too, because we know y'all peeking in to learn what we talk about. Make sure to follow Dr. Vernard Hodges. You can follow him on Instagram, Dr. Hodges _ Critter Fixer Vet on Instagram, and I'll make sure to have all of his contact info in the show notes. You can visit him on his website at iamdrvernardhodges.com, and make sure to check out the show Critter Fixer
Please.
Country Vets on Nat Geo Wild and Disney Plus starting March the 7th, which was like a couple weeks ago because we're airing this after we recorded. And but make sure to follow him and make sure to let him know that you heard about him on Black Fathers Now. You probably already know about the brother, but just in case you don't already know, let him know that you heard about him and heard about his story on Black Fathers Now. But brother, man, I really want to appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule in your media stuff and sitting on Kelly Clarkson shows and going to Hollywood.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
That's to hang out with the bros and hang out with Black Fathers Now. I appreciate you, my man. And so, fellas, make sure to follow Dr. Vernard Hodges on all the IG, Facebook, social media stuff. We'll have it in the show notes. Make sure to check out Critter Fixer Country Vets on Nat Geo Wild. Grab a copy of his book, Bet on Yourself. Is that available on Amazon?
It is available on Amazon. And the thing is, you will get a lot out of the book. I mean, people ask me, a lot about the real estate, a lot about investing. I put it in there in layman's terms. I mean, it is even being taught in the local school system. The superintendent came, and so it's being taught in the schools here. That's how much you can learn.
Oh, wow. So, fellas, make sure you grab a copy of Bet on Yourself by Dr. Vernard Hodges. Again, follow this brother, support this brother. Let's make, they said that he was up against or right behind the #1 show on Nat Geo Wild. Let's make sure that we all tune in so that Critter Fixers Country Vets becomes the #1 show on Nat Geo Wild. Let's make that thing happen. And so, fellas, we appreciate you all. And as always, make sure to follow Black Fathers Now on IG, Facebook. Make sure to share this episode out. Share with your friends. Let any brother. The goal is we want every brother in America to have heard about Black Fathers Now. So I need your help for that. Make sure to share this. As always, make sure to subscribe, leave ratings, leave comments, and literally go to blackfathersnow.com, grab some apparel, grab a book of mine as well. And until next time, fellas, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.